Hi guys, Commander Jaime here. Bringing you my first thoughts on literally the Granblue hits. Yeah, just Granblue got hit. I was expecting Gears and maybe Sanctuary Guard getting hit with the Arc over here in the US, but it appears that only Mick and Nitro made the list for whatever reason. And I feel like Natrose hasn't had enough tops to really make it such an issue with the whole Mick plays and stuff like that. So my thoughts about it. I mean, Bushiroad has said that, okay, the reason that they banned, or not banned, but limited Mick to 1 was because it itself returned to deck, preventing deck out or help with that, and then at the same time putting triggers back in the deck, which seemed unfair. And I was like, that's it? Okay, sure. So let's go over a typical play with that, right? So a good example is once your deck is low enough, you go into Gauche, you go to Dragoo, you go to the GBA, whatever. You do a massive field call, and you like give something power. Let's say Negro Lazy. He's, let's say, 11k base, whatever. And then if you do 2 mix, he's already at 31. If you do 4 mix, he's 51. Or you can like distribute the power between another unit and Negro Lazy, for example, to have big columns. And then of course you kill them so they go back to deck and then it gets shuffled. And so then your Negro Lazy is either swinging 31 or 51, and your other rigger is also swinging big, and then you finally do your drive check and you'll are guaranteed pretty much restanding one of the big columns or the super beefy column that you made with 4 mix, right? Okay, that sounds pretty busted. I agree. But the other reason was also decking out. Like, okay, sure. But this sounds very familiar, doesn't it, right? So what's for me stopping me to pick up my own Fenrir Wiseman deck? Do the exact same shit with Taro and Wiseman with the whole Fenrir loop. Making Wiseman typically on average over 70k by himself, with multiple attacks higher than just restanding once. And on top of that, if we have the 4 Taros in the deck, you can drive check and restand Wiseman once more. And that's like 12 to 14 attacks total. And Wiseman being on average at least 70k. So, okay. Hit Mick, right? So, to me, I think that the whole Fenrir thing was a little more busted on that sense, and on the sense of not decking out. They have Dreaming Dragon, like, okay, sure. That's not super dangerous, I guess, whatever. I'm not saying Fenrir should get hit or anything like that. I'm just saying, like, there's a deck that does it better. That's all. So, with that in mind, Nabros is the one that got hit mostly with the Mick play. 7Cs, like with people playing Night Miss in it, I do play still. Also got affected. Even Ghosties, I've played Ghosties too with the stand trigger, and then I'm sure there's other variants of Granblue that adore Mick in their actual arsenal, right? 7 Runner is the only one that says, okay, I don't care. I don't even use Mick. They use Nightcrow at 4. Sure, it's at 1, but it's not really that big of a hit that many people think, I think. And that's a problem because people are saying that the deck is dead, and that's not right. The deck will adapt, and believe it or not, you will see it at big events after this hit. And just for those that are not prepared to face that kind of deck, I suggest practicing. That's all. It's not it may be an unfair deck in a sense, like with Granblue, not Granblue, but with Striding. But I mean, the deck is beatable. You just have to learn how to play with it, play against it. You know, a good example is not giving them any damage until you get enough advantage when you're on grade 3, and finally you could just start doing damage and making sure you have enough advantage to guard their attacks, and you eventually win. Or they deck out. Either way, there's various strategies. But if you're a limit break deck, you might as well go ham, right? Things like that. With Night Rose, I mean, it's not gotten as many tops here in the US, and you know, compared to the OCG, but I mean, it's still a good deck. I probably will play Night Rose in August at one of the big events coming up soon, so that's still my contender going up with my pick of choice. Whether I do 11 crit or substitute the stands for like the Screaming Banshee chick, I don't know. I just have to play test a little more, and then I'll figure out what I think is best for the deck for that event and my meta call at that point too. But like with a Yu-Gi-Oh mindset, decks get hit, they'll adapt. It's up to the pilot for them to succeed with it, and that's what really determines a good player with a good deck. So keep that in mind. And so with that, I think that's all I have to say really. And for the people that I guess hate those decks, they're tired of Granblue and all that stuff, don't be such a hater. Like, it's just a deck that's in the meta right now. Soon other decks will become in the meta, and I guess you will hate those decks too. But I mean, we just have to adapt as better card fighters, you know, that kind of thing. Meta has changed over the years, and it will continue to change. So with that, I will see you guys later. Bye.